Economics, Standard 11, Unit 2, Methods of Measuring and Importance of Price Elasticity of Demand. Methods of measuring price elasticity of demand and importance of price elasticity of demand continued. Elasticity of demand is the degree of responsiveness of the quantity demanded for a commodity to a change in its price. Responsiveness of the quantity demanded for a commodity to a change in its price. There are 4 types of elasticity of demand, namely price elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand, cross elasticity of demand, and advertising elasticity of demand. We learned the degrees of price elasticity of demand too, namely perfectly elastic demand, imperfectly elastic demand, unitary demand, relatively elastic demand, relatively inelastic demand too. Of course, there are 3 methods of measuring price elasticity of demand or elasticity of demand. The percentage method, total outlay method, and point or geometrical method. We learnt the percentage method and total outlay method too. The percentage method formula is percentage method. So under percentage method, EP is equal to change in quantity demanded divided by change in price into price divided by quantity. So percentage equal to percentage of change in quantity divided by percentage of change in price. Total outlay method. Total outlay. So under total outlay method, total revenue is equal to TR. Total revenue is equal to price into quantity sold. So total revenue is equal to price into quantity sold. We learned the total outlay method also with the help of a table in the previous class. Let us learn today the third important method of measuring price elasticity of demand, point or geometrical method, and then the importance of price elasticity of demand too. So point or geometrical, so point method. So point method, the diagram here, horizontal line x-axis and mark it as quantity demanded. Okay, so quantity demanded, and y-axis vertical line, price can be marked. And remember, in point or geometrical elasticity of demand, when the demand curve is in a straight line, it is said to be linear. So when the demand curve is in a straight line, it is said to be a linear. So graphically, the point elasticity of a linear curve, demand curve. So I have started from the point and drawn this linear demand curve. Then we have from the point, we can just divide it like this, and you can do it here. So this way, and now we can mark it here as that is RM. So this is R and M, and you can give here Q, S, and the other important thing, that is Q, S, and any Q, P, S or any letters you can give here. So Q, P, S. Okay. Now this is linear. The demand curve is linear. And so here upper, the point demand curve, the below point is just called as lower segment. It is lower segment. And the point demand curve linear above is called as upper segment. So it is known as upper segment. So there is lower segment and upper segment also is present there. Remember, here when we have 0 point and M, so EP is equal to 0. EP is equal to 0. And the next one, you can remember, EP is equal to, EP is less than 1. So lower segment less than 1. And here EP is equal to 1. And this part, that is a point that is above the point linear demand curve, you have EP is greater than 1. So the upper segment to the last, that we can just to see above the linear demand curve. Here EP is equal to infinity. So that's what we find it here. Okay, so EP is infinitive in this condition. So now you can easily identify this point clearly. Okay, now so lower segment before the linear demand curve and upper segment above the linear demand curve, or we can just say it as, that is graphically the point elasticity of your linear demand curve is shown by the ratio of the segments of the line to the right and to the left of the particular point. So according to point method, then we can just come to the conclusion that, so point elasticity of demand is equal to lower segment divided by upper segment. Do you understand? So lower segment of the demand curve below the given point divided by upper segment of the demand curve above the given point. So U, that is lower. So you have to remember P is equal to, according to the point method, P is equal to lower segment of the demand curve below the given point divided by upper segment of the demand curve above the given point. So automatically you can simply measure it in such a way, that is EP is equal to L divided by U. EP is equal to L divided by U. That is lower segment divided by upper segment. Clear? So percentage method, change in quantity demanded divided by change in price into price divided by Q, or percentage of change in quantity divided by percentage of change in price. Total outlay method, TR is equal to P into quantity sold, and EP, that is in point method, EP is equal to lower segment divided by upper segment. So all these are the important 3 methods of measuring price elasticity of demand. Importance of price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand has much practical importance. So importance of price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand. So under importance of price elasticity of demand, we can remember the first point is price fixation. Price fixation. Each seller under monopoly and imperfect competition has to take into account the elasticity of demand while fixing the price for his commodity, for his product. If the demand for the product is inelastic, he can fix a higher price. Secondly, production. Producers generally decide their production level or producing level on the basis of demand for the production. So production is also another importance, production. And thirdly, distribution. So when a product is produced high, then the factors of production also receive rewards. It is based on the elasticity of demand. Elasticity of demand also helps in the determination of reward for factors of production. If elasticity of demand for a product is elastic in nature, the factors of production also increase. And fourthly, international trade. Elasticity of demand helps in finding out the terms of trade between two countries. Terms of trade depends upon the elasticity of demands of goods of the two countries. So international trade. And fifthly, you can remember public finance. Even the government has to just depend on following the tax policies depending on the price elasticity of demand. So public finance. So price elasticity of demand also helps the government to formulate or in formulating the tax policies for a particular commodity and so on. So it depends upon the elasticity of demand for fixing tax on a particular commodity by the government. And last, sixth point, nationalization. The concept of elasticity of demand enables the government to decide over, that is, nationalization of industries. So the concept of elasticity of demand helps the government to decide over nationalization of industries. So the sixth point is nationalization. So we can just see the importance of price elasticity of demand on different categories: price fixation, production, distribution, international trade, public finance, and nationalization. So price elasticity of demand is very important, and it has got much practical importance in an economy. Thank you for listening.